The transfer window slams shut this week, and by goodness, if one team need to make some signings, it isn't off Cardiff City because the future of the manager might even depend on it. To get the views on all of that and all the stuff going on with the Bluebirds, we've got our resident fan, James. Good evening, James.
Good evening, Mark.
And we have our special guest, a noble on Twitter, Cardiff sites, Harry Driscoll. Good evening, Harry.
Good evening. Not been called that before.
Well, we've dragged you on because the comments that you make about your club are legendary. So we're delighted to have you with us. All right, let's talk. Well, lots to talk about. But first of all, let's talk about transfers, shall we, or lack of them. James, update us. What's the latest that you're hearing of coming ins?
Eventually, we've been linked with a few players. Going back a couple of weeks ago, we was told it was 2 deals close. That seemed to sort of go cold. Errol Bulut then come out after the Plymouth game, saying that basically if he wasn't backed, he weren't sure if he would be in charge of the Watford game. So he's very, very frustrated. Now, over the last couple of days, we're starting to get linked with a few players. There's a Serbian striker called Ilic or something like that. 23 years old. We've been linked with him for a move around 3.5 to 4 million. I think Lille have come in and sort of tried to hijack that. So that's up in the air at the moment. See what happens there. We got a midfielder that's probably going to sign now in the next sort of day or so, NDDI or something like that, I think you pronounce it. He used to play for Stoke a couple of years back. So he's a free agent now. He's just left a club in Turkey, so I think that one will get done. And then we're also after Kiefer Moore on loan, which is probably public knowledge to everyone, which we all hope that we can get done. And then there's talk of Nat Phillips on loan from Liverpool.
I'm laughing because we'll come back to all them. So the Kiefer Moore one has been rumbling on for, it feels like, months. It doesn't help that he scored for Bournemouth, I think, in the cup, wasn't it, a couple of weeks ago. Harry, first of all, we'll review all those signings in a minute. What risk is there of, if none of these comes off, genuinely, do you feel as fans that Buller's going to walk or not sign this extension contract?
I think, to be honest, from his press conference post Plymouth, he's made it quite clear. I think he's put it. There's a split. It could be seen as a cry for help in order to force the board's hand to buy players, or it could be a genuine, if you don't sign anyone, I'm off. And I think he's quite a passionate bloke from what we can see. Typically in his interviews, the way he carries himself, I wouldn't be shocked if he did walk this time, if he's gone by this time next week or whenever that's 8 days away, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, and that terrifies me, to be honest. Would I blame him if he walked? Probably not. Realistically, if we don't get those 3-4 names that James mentioned, which even if we get 2, I'm not sure that'll be enough. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But if he does go, we're in a real hole.
It's a real shame, isn't it? Because
100%.
James, you've mentioned on these videos at the start of the year, it's nice to see Cardiff not involved in relegation scraps. You've been at the right end of the table. It looks like it's probably going to be mid-table mediocrity once again. But would you take that right now? Have you given up on the playoffs?
Yeah, mid-table is a realistic, realistic position to finish. I mean, obviously we started quite well in the season, but obviously as the season pans out, then you sort of begin to see a real positioning of a team. And again, I think that you've got to be careful in these situations, especially in the Championship, because, if you don't get the signings right, or if you don't sign anyone at all, you can easily end up in a position where sort of QPR and Reading were last season and sort of easily get dragged into a relegation fight. I mean, we're 14th at the moment. It's not too bad considering where we were this time last season. But, if, these signings don't go to plan over the next sort of couple of days, and Errol Bulut could be walking, and then you're looking in a new manager and potential relegation battle, which is obviously not what we need.
Yeah. That said, Harry, you are only 6 points away from the playoffs. So have you given up?
No, of course not. I'm ever the optimist. We're 6 points off the playoffs, and I honestly think if we get those 4 signings through, that James mentioned again, we can push. Ramsey coming back in the next couple of weeks is like a new signing again, and we can go back to the Cardiff of August, September, October that look really, really impressive under Bulut. Having said that, being a realist and being a Cardiff fan for 20 plus years, we're also only 12 points, I think it is, off the relegation with 18 games to go. So if we don't sign these players, Bulut goes, we have a couple of injuries. It's very, very, I don't know the word, but it can go either way at the moment.
Yeah.
And we can still, of course, we can still make the playoffs, but I'm naturally, as a Cardiff fan, pessimistic sometimes and looking over my shoulder as well.
You're allowed to be.
Yeah.
February's an interesting month for Cardiff as well, because you've got 3 home games which are all entirely winnable. Preston, Blackburn, Stoke at the end of the month as well, and some away trips. Obviously Watford we'll talk about in a minute. West Brom and Norwich. You never know what's going to be on with Norwich, but West Brom away is the only fixture you look at, in this calendar month and think, well, okay, that might not go your way. So the potential is, 15 points for grab here, James. Would you agree?
I think, to be honest, you go into these games, obviously form does play a factor, and you go to these teams that are difficult, and, 6 games. Yeah, 6 games. So it's like 3, 6, 12. 18 points in total. The thing is with Cardiff, we're a team that'll go and lose at home against Preston, but then go and beat West Brom away. It's just how Cardiff work, to be honest. And who knows with this team, and and as well with signings now, teams change. So, and with Ramsey coming back, hopefully we'll see a bit more of positive play from Cardiff over the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Harry, there's lots of strikers being linked, but isn't it midfield that you really need to sign?
I think we need one of everything, mate, to be honest. I think we need centre-half, we need a centre midfielder. We're crying out for a left-back and a striker, but centre midfielder we've been linked with, is it Ndai or Ndai? Yeah, the Stoke fella. Plenty of Cardiff fans moaning on Twitter that he's 33, but ultimately if he's going to come in and hit the ground running, then so be it, realistically. I don't think there's a massive need. There is a massive need, sorry. I don't think there's one area that cries out more than the other. I suppose we need a striker to put the ball in the net. It's going to help us out massively. And a left-back's a problem because Collins is half the player he was back in the start of the season for whatever reason.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring in our Watford fan because it starts this weekend then at Vicarage Road. Good evening, Aaron. How are you?
Evening, yeah, good. Thank you, Mark.
Aaron, you saw the 1-1 draw this year when you went up to Cardiff, didn't you? Yourself. What did you make of Cardiff then?
Well, actually, I actually got stuck in Gloucester.
That was the game you got stuck, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had a ticket. I was on my way, and the trains meant I didn't see it, but I did watch the highlights. That was a very different Watford as well as a very different Cardiff by the sounds of things. That was a time where I think we mentioned earlier we were 20th. We really weren't clicking. The goal we got was fortunate. It was a mistake by their goalkeeper, and Bayer managed to pounce. I wouldn't even look at that game when assessing this one. I think we're going to see 2 very different teams guide at Vicarage Road.
Okay, all right. James, let's get some score predictions from you then for us. Tricky one away at Watford. What do you reckon, though?
2-0 Watford. Even if we get 1 or 2 players in, I think it'll take time to sort of bed them in. And I think 2-0 Watford, especially with them having Dennis now as well, is a big threat for them.
What has happened to you? I remember those days after the Swansea game. You were full of optimism.
That was a while back.
Yeah, Harry, score prediction.
5-0 Cardiff. No.
That's something like that. We'll take that.
I'd be delighted with a draw, mate, to be honest. I couldn't predict my team to lose, so we'll have to stick a draw 2-2.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, neutral, love that. And Aaron, not be 0-0 this one, is it?
No, absolutely not. And I think we will get the win. I think we'll capitalise on Cardiff's negative situation at the moment with obviously uncertainties with the manager, the injuries and the lack of incomings. But we won't keep a clean sheet still. So I think it will be 2-1.
All right, nice one. Let's hope you still got a manager come Friday morning, boys. Yes, that's usually the Watford say, isn't it? Right, thank you very much, everyone. Cardiff against Watford. Put your comments below if you've got a better score prediction than any of these, or if you can recommend any midfielders for Cardiff to go and sign in the next 2 days. Thank you all. All strikers, yeah. All left backs, yeah. Right, thanks to anyone, yeah. All right, cheers all. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
Cheers.